We gonna have a celebration.
Hi, this is Dale Brown from Dale Brown and Truth, and you're listening to UMERADIO. Positive entertainment 24/7.
Let's give God some praises.
God, you made man in your own image, and Adam knew Eve, and Lord, they connected. They knew each other. They knew each other parts of their bodies. God, we thank you for our bodies. We thank you that we are sexual beings. We thank you that we are able to make love to the one that you have given us. Lord, as we explore each other, as we express our love for each other, by touching the body parts that we are grateful for. And God, we thank you for the female breast. Thank you for the female vagina. Thank you for the erogenous stones. We thank you for the pulses on our bodies that allow us to have pleasure. We thank you, God, for our urethra. We thank you, God, for the clitoris, that we can have sensation to satisfy the man you put into our lives. We thank you for the ovaries. Thank you for the fallopian tubes. Thank you for the outer lips of the vagina, God. Thank you for the delirium. Thank you for this, our bodies, to have pleasure, Jesus. We thank you, Lord, for our eyes. Thank you for our lips. Thank you for our tongue that you gave us, Father. We thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for all our female organs. We thank you, Jesus, that we can make pleasure our husbands, pleasure our wives, that you placed into our lives. We thank you for the male organs, God. We thank you for the penis, Father. We thank you, you allow a sensation. Thank you for an erection that he's able to pleasure his wife, Jesus. We thank you for the scrotum. Thank you for the vas deferens. Thank you for the prostate gland. Thank you for the embryonic sac. Thank thank you, Jesus. Thank you for how you made us. We thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And we'll embrace each other. Embrace each other with our love. As we make love to each other, make love to each other in love. As we explore each other, explore each other in love. As we take time for each other, take time for each other in love. And we bless you, Lord. When we make love, we thank you, Lord. When we make love to each other, we thank you, Lord. Just thank you for blessing our body parts.
It's UMERADIO, touching your airwaves like something you've never heard before.
UMERADIO. God, you made man in your own image, and Adam knew Eve, and Lord, they connected. They knew each other. They knew each other parts of their bodies. God, we thank you for our bodies. We thank you that we are sexual beings. We thank you that we are able to make love to the one that you have given us. Lord, as we explore each other, explore each other, as we express our love for each other by touching the body parts that we are grateful for. And God, we thank you for the female breast. Thank you for the female vagina. Thank you for the erogenous zones. We thank you for the pulses on our bodies that allow us to have pleasure. We thank you, God, for our urethra. We thank you, God, for the clitoris, that we can have sensation to satisfy the man you put into our lives. We thank you for the ovaries. Thank you for the pillow.
Hi, this is Dale Brown from Dale Brown and Truth, and you're listening to UMERADIO. Positive entertainment 24/7.
It's UMERADIO, touching your airwaves like something you've never heard before.
You, me, radio. Try to express on paper. Ever since I met you, my boo, happiness blues in red from violet blue. Never felt so loved. This could only come from above. Maybe it can last for the summer and fall, for the winter and springtime, for a lifetime that's ours. If I live, baby, let it be to love you. If I die, let it be in your arms. You set my soul on fire as you pull me closer and closer. Lover of my dreams is now a reality. Never felt so loved. This could only come from above. Baby, it can last for the summer and fall, for the winter, springtime, nighttime that's ours. If I live, baby, let it be to love you. And if I die, let it be in your arms. When all the saw peasants, you saw royalty. When all the saw failure, you saw purpose in me. You felt my heart and touched my soul like none have done before. Let it be to love you, yeah. Your arms. If I live, I will. Baby, let me love you, yeah. If I die, let it be in your arms. If I live, let it be to love you.
Let's talk
relationships on
on
You Me Radio.
So, what are we talking about?
Marriage, dating, parenting, business.
And love, emotions, sex.
It's a conversation with me, Lady Misty,
And DJ KTE.
on everything from hot topics to taboos.
Join us Mondays at 9 p.m. live on UME Radio.
Follow us at Let's Talk Relationship Show on Facebook or on Yumi Radio on Instagram. Let's talk relationships, arguments for the grown.
Get the UME Radio app to listen wherever you are. That is UME Radio. One word.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Hi. Good night, everyone. Good night, everybody. You are on Yumi Radio and you are listening to and you have tuned into Let's Talk Relationships. I want to welcome you all to another great episode on a Monday night. This is a place to be on a Monday night.
Yep.
We are looking forward to a great show tonight. Tonight, we have a very interesting topic, as we always do. And the topic for tonight is commitment scares me. The fear of commitment. Commitment scares me. Does commitment scare you? We're going to talk about it tonight. Now, this is a conversation. It's a conversational topic, yes, and it comes with, of course, a lot of pre-existing ideas and notions. So we're going to be joined tonight by some persons who are living the life, and they are going to be sharing their experiences with us. Of course, we always start with an attitude of gratitude.
Yes, we do.
So we want to say thank you so much to our partners, our supporters, our listeners, our viewers. We want to say thank you so much for continuing to partner with us here at Yumi Radio and, of course, on Let's Talk Relationships. Now, this year we want to be a support system for you. Last year we learned a lot, and this year we want to be having conversations that will be of help to you. So please, if you have any questions or you have any comments or you have something you want us to talk about, please feel free to drop us a comment, or you can email us at ltranswers@gmail.com. That's ltranswers@gmail.com. And of course, we are ready to be of support to you. We want to say as well that we are here to provide support for any relationship, whether it is a marital or family or business relationship. We want to be of support to you. So cheers to love and happiness. You are listening to Let's Talk Relationships, and I am your host, Lady Misty, and I am here with my amazing co-host,
no other but DJ KTE.
All right, DJ KTE is with me tonight, as per usual.
And folks, it is now April 19th, and the time is now 9:04 to be exact. 9:04 p.m. to be exact. So, folks, want to thank you so much for joining us. We are live on YouTube right now, and we want to really say hello to everyone that is watching. Please let us know where you're joining us from. This year, we want to make sure that we are connecting. So please leave a comment, a question, or shout out. Right? We can also be found on all these amazing platforms, guys. Check it out. If you're on Apple App Store, we got you. In fact, our app is there. Get an app on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. You can get an app there. It's UME Radio, UMERADIO, one word.
That's
All right.
right.
The letter UME Radio, one word. And if you're on iTunes, we got you. You're on IR Radio, we got you too. You're on TuneIn, we're gonna tune you, we got you. Google Podcast, we're coming live at you. Radio Net, we there. All right, Live 365, we there. Stitcher, we on point, we there with you. All right, so just listen out for us. Podbean, Tune New York, we there. Spotify, you can find us there. So, all these platforms, listeners, you guys make it happen. We are like family now. So we're building, we're growing, we're expanding. One big happy family in 2021. We're coming at you. Let's talk relationships. Yes. All right, Lady Missy,
Yes,
take it.
yes.
Aha.
All right. All right. Those of you who are on YouTube, please remember to check out our discounts in the description bar. We have some great discounts there from Google Workplace. So check them out. They have a 10% off deal going on. It's happening now. And remember, it expires next month, the month of May. So please check that out in our description bar. And
Yeah.
they are our spotlight for this evening. Google Workplace.
Yes. So
That helps us to work fast drive. It's a fully integrated way to work. Google Workplace is offering a 14-day trial. So head on over to umeradio.com for more details.
So, folks, when you hear the word integrated, think of it as like a one-stop shop idea where you find everything in that one little package. So you don't have to be reaching over there, over here. So all those major
That's right.
online work that you need to do, performance that you need to take care of, bam, it's right there. Can't go wrong.
That's right. Once again, if you are just joining us, you're listening to Let's Talk Relationships with Lady Misty and
DJ
That's
KTE.
right. And I want to say hello and good night to, of course, my YouTube tribe over there. I am seeing Travel Escapades always in the front. I'm seeing you. Good night. Yes, good night. Giving you a shout out over there. Good night. Good night, Nastasia. I see you as well. Good night, Shane.
Shout
I
out,
see you
shout
as
out.
well. And to all those
All
who are
right.
listening on Podbean and, of course, live on UME Radio. Good night to you. It's awesome to have you here tonight. We're moving into our first segment tonight, and that's our spotlight segment. And tonight we have a UME Radio blog link spotlight, and we're spotlighting Lady Lauren Carter. She was here with us last week, and she told us a little bit about her journey. She visited our neighbors over there on weekends, and we will continue to highlight her as she continues her journey to city council. So tonight's spotlight is Road to City Council Miss Lauren Carter, a Democrat, and she is running there in Mount Vernon.
Mhm.
And
New
she
York,
has
Mount Vernon,
a
y'all.
wonderful article that I read. Yes. So shout out to New York. She's doing some wonderful things over there. I read an article about her. I've been following up and reading through the article, and what I like about it is that it is so transparent, and you can see just from the wording and how the article is put together that she is a true servant leader, and she has
Yes.
been doing great things over there. She's trying to correct legislation and working on infrastructure, working with the people, trying to improve
Yes,
the quality
she's
of
real
life
hands-on.
over there in the
Yeah.
county. Yeah,
Yeah,
she is trying
she's
to
real
improve the
hands-on.
quality of life over
Mhm.
there in Mount Vernon, and we want to say shout out to her for that. Yeah, she's over there
Mhm.
doing great things. So please go and check her out. Please remember to go and check out her website, laurenforcitycouncil.com, and you will find all the information that you need to know about her there and the amazing work that she has been doing. You know, we support especially people of color, women of color that are doing extraordinary things in politics
Yes,
and
and this year,
positive things in politics, and that's what we need.
yes, and Lady Misty,
Go ahead, DJ.
this year in particular, as it relates to Black folks,
Mm-hmm.
there are many groundbreaking things
Yes,
that's happening from the White House. You know what I mean? To the community house. So it's good that we can see these good things are happening on Black women and Black men, communities all over across America. So for those who are here, your support is always is welcome, and it's always it always affect things in a very positive way. So we definitely look for
yes,
you guys to spread the word and get on board. And you maybe we call for donations, you may call for support, voting, get involved, guys, and let's make it happen. All right, to support each other like never before.
yes.
Yes.
And as we told her last week, we are in full support of her on her
Hmm.
journey for city council, and we want her to vote.
Yes.
All right. We are
Round and round
we
we go.
await a Yeah, we await a video presentation just speaking about her and her awesome journey and the things that she has been doing over there in
Yes.
New York. New York is a very big place and there's
Hmm.
much to do, but
Yes.
she has been doing an awesome job. I know she spoke last week about her relationship with her community
Hmm.
and the fact that she's there, she's on the ground. And that's what I love
Yes.
about her journey. She's on the ground, she's meeting the people, she's
Hmm.
working, she's rubbing shoulders with the people in her community, allowing them to
Yes. Yes.
know
Hands on.
her. And yes, she's very hands on, and I am particularly happy about that. So, kudos to you, Miss Carter, and we wish you
Hmm.
all the best on your journey. And of course, we pray and we hope for your success
Yes.
as you continue on that journey over there. And of
Hmm.
course, all my Mount Vernons, please go and support Lauren Carter
But
over
Vernanians.
there. Yes. Yes, man, you go and support her.
um,
All
very nice.
right, so we are moving out of our spotlight segment and we're moving into our main feature for tonight. And of course, remember, our topic tonight is commitment scares me. And this topic tonight is birthed out of a viewer slash listener letter that came into us.
Hmm.
Of course, remember, we tell you if you have anything you want us to talk about and you have anything relationship related and you want us to talk about it, to please email us at ltranswers@gmail.com, because
Hmm.
yes, we are here to support you and that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Lady Nicole, good night. I see you. Marsha J, good night as well. Fiona, good night. I'm seeing all of you reporting to the table tonight to keep our company. Good night.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. So, as I said,
Chanel
tonight's
Peart.
topic
All
is
right.
commitment scares me. We're gonna be joined in a little while by some people who will be helping us to unpack this tonight. And of course, our objective, the whole point of us talking about these topics each night when we come, is to provide support. So we want to provide support for this person who wrote into us as we try to assist and help them as best as we can. This person has
Indeed.
a concern with commitment,
Hmm.
and so we want to see how best we can support. All right, so Of course, let me draw for my other two eyes as I read for you tonight to provide context.
Here we go. I got mine too. So we both in the same boat.
Yeah. Right. So this is the letter that came into us. So it says, Dear LTR crew, I am your number one fan. I am writing to share a fear that I have. It is a commitment phobia. Those are strong words, eh?
Okay.
I think deep down inside, I fear that commitment is not a real thing. I don't think people really commit. They hang around for as long as they are getting what they want or think they enjoy. But the moment the real you shows up, they reject. I call it deject, dismiss, and reject. They do this to you no matter how much you love, desire, or need them. And so, I've met someone. We are of two completely different cultures. We only just met about a week or two ago, and he uses the L word. And I think the L word here is talking about love.
Love.
He uses the L word and he calls me baby. However, I find that I am repulsed by it. He is different. He's a professional. He's very transparent, very open. It is almost as though he is from a world where being transparent comes naturally to him. Initially, because of how I met him via Facebook Messenger, I thought perhaps the images he showed me was not really who he was. But then he video called me. I was all up in my judgment and was shocked when it was the same person in the photos on the video. He shares his entire life with me in pictures, shares his mom's photo. He calls her his everything. Those two words, though, they rub against me the wrong way because it just seems so soon. However, I have been praying for what I find interesting. I've been praying, and what I find interesting is that I feel like I had this experience before when I loved someone before I met them. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think they had the same reaction that I was having. And so this makes me double think, because maybe I'm so used to struggling that if I don't struggle for it, I don't believe it can be true. That's interesting. Why am I writing this? I wonder if anyone else struggles with this. I have prayed about it, but I am not quite clear on a response from God as yet. But this guy is really very different. He calls me beautiful. He asks for nothing. He puts himself out there. I am learning that love is not earned. It is given by God. But how do I navigate it in a way that whatever the outcome, I'm not too devastated? Perhaps I feel this way now because I'm only just getting over having my heart shattered. I desire love. I am worthy of love. I am destined to be loved, belong, and have a family. I am enough. So how do I navigate? How do I navigate this with wisdom? I would really like to hear some perspectives on this, please. Thank you. And this is from a viewer. So this person is having commitment issues.
That guy sounds like me.
Think?
That guy sounds like me.
So,
I'm a good guy. That
so
sounds like me.
LTR family. It sounds like you. This person is writing about you.
That's me.
So,
Very, very
LTR family, I
nice.
want you out there, those
That's
of you
it.
who are listening to me on YouTube, th- those of you who are listening to me on YouTube over there, and those of you who are in Radio Land, think about it for a minute. Just pause for a minute and think about it. Do you have commitment issues? Is there such a thing? Can we resolve
Yes.
it?
Let's.
Think about it. Do I have issues with committing? And commitment issues doesn't really have to go right up to relationships, just with little things. Think about it. Do you have commitment issues?
Yes.
Let's think about
Lady
it.
Misty.
All right.
Lady Misty.
Yes, sir.
Let's welcome our guest, our amazing guest. Let's welcome our guest. Let's welcome our beautiful guest tonight.
All right. I was heading there. I was heading there. So our guest tonight.
I know you were.
Yes, for those who are joining us tonight, we have some guests in the room who are going to be helping us to see how best we can support this person in their quest to see if there are any good perspectives on commitment. But before we introduce our guests, or my first guest tonight, I want to shed some spotlight on him. Yes, so before I even continue, right? This is a part of his introduction because he's just nice like that. All right. So,
with his purple on,
Yes. So we are shedding spotlight tonight on our returning guests. All right, Reverend Courtney Morrison, inside his radio program, The Mailbox. And just before they cue that video up for us, I was listening to his program last week, and they have interesting topics over there too, DJ KTE.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I gotta check it out. Let me know. Let me know in that one. Let me on.
They were talking about. They were talking about male abuse, financially abused men, and I enjoyed that conversation. Can men be financially abused? And I enjoyed that program so much. So listen, they talk up the things over there. So yeah, that's why he fits in over here, because they talk up the things over there, and then we come over here and talk up the things as well.
All right.
Yes. So while our producers cue that video up today, we are joined as well by the lovely lady Gloria Adigold Lawrence.
Welcome. All right.
Yes, she's a returning guest as well. Yeah, I'm like, she was excited. Yes.
It's on tonight, I'll tell you.
Yes, and she is a host as well. So listen, we have very, experienced.
It's the host show here, right?
It's a host show tonight. So
listen.
So she is a host of Unfiltered by Jade, a podcast that contains information to educate, laughter to entertain, and overcoming stories to inspire. Listen, I love that. All right, she's all in bite-sized consumable chunk. It's an adult real show, just like this one. Hey.
Okay.
And she has spoken on podcast, example, Her Pleasure Chest podcast, Their Dream, and Random Nobody podcast, and more. So listen, he's a host on host show tonight.
There's a lot going on
tonight
here.
We are not competing tonight, we're complimenting, right? So we are complimenting each other. We don't compete, we compliment.
Listen, I just want to say, I just want to say, Pastor Morris, we're not going down. Okay, we are not going down tonight. I'm sorry. They're saying that because they're trying to be.
And there you go.
She knows. She's setting us up with a big one.
There you go. DJ KT made it into a competition. After I'm over
Pastor Morris, I'm telling you, it's coming. Watch it. I'm telling you, just get ready. We're going to do this.
It's not a competition. All right. And Yes, I also let me apologize to our listeners. We also had Dr. Candace Drummond who was to join us tonight, but she had some issues beyond her control. So let me apologize on her behalf for not being here tonight. She's also a return guest to the show. It would have been lovely to have her once more.
Yes, it would.
So
Yes, it would.
here we go, and we are now going to shed the spotlight on the mailbox. And the mailbox is heard every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. with our host tonight, our guest tonight, Pastor Courtney Morrison and Kevin Bailey.
All right. Love it.
Yes.
Hey fam, it's Marsha J in the streets, and this week we have a very special spotlight feature. We want to honor a special guest that has been returning to us every single week. It's none other than Reverend Courtney Morrison, who is the host of Mailbox. And so tonight he's going to tell us a little bit about Mailbox and what that is about.
The mailbox started 9 years ago, come July 2021. It will be 9 years, and has always been co-hosted by Courtney Morrison and Kevin Bailey. It's a program designed for men, hosted by men whose guests are men, and we do our best to ensure that our men are encouraged, empowered, yet challenged for change. And it is designed to help in changing the narrative of our men. And our target are men between the ages of 25 up until 55 at least. And so we do our best to stay current, look at topics that affect men, that we know affects their relations with their sons, their wives, and all relationships that they have, to encourage them to get to a point of walking in the way that God would have them walk, be accountable in the way they walk. We also point men to programs that will help to build, mentor, and hold them accountable. The mailbox in itself, the program is designed in such a way, as you see, we play on the word mailbox. It's M-A-L-E, but we do relate it to M-A-I-L. So we have a section which is called the favorite folders, and another section which is called junk mail. Junk mail is where we encourage men that this is a practice that they should discontinue. The favorite folder is a section where we talk about topics that may be frivolous, that it helps to inform nonetheless. The two main sections are favorite folders and junk mail. So that's the mailbox, aired on Love 101 every Wednesday between the hours of 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Well, Rev, we want to thank you so much for your commitment to the male population. Here on UMERADIO, our goal is to empower 1 million. Thank you, and God bless you.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, DJ Marsha J. Yeah, so that's the mailbox. And Reverend Courtney Morrison, I'm going to tell you from now, my favorite mail is the junk mail. My favorite mail is the junk mail.
That's
all
what
right.
we hear from most ladies. That's
so
interesting.
Good night, everyone.
I wonder
good
why.
Night. Thank you.
I wonder why.
Yes. Because it's interesting to hear them debunk some of the things, and we want to hear the men debunk some of the things that men think that's good. So that's my favorite part of it.
Oh, I got
Apart
you.
from, of course, the regular programming.
Yes.
All right. So good night, Rev. Good night, Lady Adigo Lawrence.
Good night.
I trust that you are well.
I'm well.
I trust that you're well. Welcome to a new week.
Yes.
And tonight we want to see how well we can support this person that has commitment issues. Now, I was reading an article between yesterday and today from insider.com, and that article lists some reasons why a person would have commitment issues. I just want to mention some of them, just as we get into the topic tonight. So insider.com mentioned peer pressure as one of the reasons why a person may be may have commitment issues. Another one may be fear of abandonment. Another may be a bad relationship. That's a bad experience they may have in the past. And I found one that was very interesting. Poor relationships with a partner's parents. I found that very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I thought that was a very interesting reason that they listed. But I want to hear from you both tonight. The viewer said that commitment issues is a real thing. How real is it? And is it something that is very common or not? So let me start with the ladies first. So let me start with the lady Lawrence.
Okay, so commitment. When I saw the topic, commitment scares me. I'm saying it's something that we had just spoken about on my podcast the other day in terms of people are afraid to be committed.
There you go.
Because they have to be transparent. Right?
Transparency, yeah.
Yes. So I understand it's a real thing where if you're not committed to the person, you have no obligation to be accountable to the person for anything, really. You're still able to do what you want to do on your own time without texting anybody, without letting them know what is happening in life, because your life, it's not something that is intertwined between both parties. So I mean, most times I hear, especially, and it's funny because from the podcast I did, I heard a lot of men reached out to me to say they have commitment issues because they have to change themselves for the person who they're going to be with.
Wow.
that's
And
interesting.
That is the main issue that many men have, the fact that they have to change themselves, because being with a woman, now they have to do things differently. So as someone says, is that he goes out and by the time he comes back home, everything is changed in the house, and that for him is a big thing.
Wow.
It's for women. Women just like to decorate or change up stuff. For a woman, she's doing it so he's gonna be happy. But for the man, I left my home a particular way and I came back home and seen a totally different way. And for them, it scares them. And another thing is that men have a problem, or people have an issue where they can't have friends of the opposite sex once they're now committed to a spouse.
Listen, Lady Lawrence, that's going to be a whole other show. I can't wait to do a topic on that. I want to dedicate a whole night just to that
5 hours, a 5-hour tour.
Okay. Listen, I'm so here for it.
All night
long. All night long. I want to do a topic on that one.
It's interesting.
Specifically that one.
It's interesting. I had shared with someone, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that there is no problem with being friends with the opposite sex, but it's how you do it. So as a gentleman said, suppose if I see one of my girlfriends, one of my friends, and she looks nice, I can't say you look nice. But if it is that they do that, they're supposed to gonna have a problem because they're complimenting somebody else. So there are just a lot of things that people actually don't want to change, or they don't see it as an issue. But when they know are committed to someone, it's gonna be a big problem, and they said it's gonna be drawn out of proportion. So those are some of the things that scares people, I think.
All right, Reverend Morris, your thoughts.
In Jamaica, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to have back. I almost said my partner, but I don't know what anybody else would think if I said that. But it's good to have Lady Abigail with us tonight.
Yes.
We have a popular saying in Jamaica: once bitten, twice shy. In other words, trust being betrayed, trust being broken can lead to rejection, and also the fear of rejection. And so what we find happening, I love you too. What?
Yeah.
I'm seeing somebody say we love you, Reverend. What we find happening is that because of past experiences, most often a lack of making a commitment is out of past experiences that may have gone wrong, have gone south. And so persons are wondering, should I or should I not? And especially if they're seeing things that are familiar or reflected what happened in the previous experience. It's not even an issue of treading cautiously on eggshells. It's a matter of not even wanting to touch the eggshells for persons. It's interesting the difference between men and women. We find that most men fear commitment. I see someone doing this. Oh yeah, so they fear marriage. I've sat with quite a number of young men in Jamaica, and I found the discussion interesting because I was not cultured like what I heard most of these men saying, that them not trust no woman keep too much secret, and you don't know when them are do anything, so me not trust none. And so that is a foundation. It was interesting because I thought it was the other way around, mainly to sit with and hear them expressing this. I thought it was women who really didn't trust men, but I did not know that there were so many men that really are afraid of making a commitment because of the lack of trust of women. But if that's in relationships, if we think outside of relationships, but this is let's start relationships. Yet if we think outside of making commitments to relationship, men will commit to their cars to wash it every day. They'll commit to their gadgets. They'll commit to the projects that are not given to them, and I'm cautious, given to them by women. It's interesting. So at home, the wife will say, so when are you going to look about the garage? And he says, tomorrow. Yet the true proverb or adage is, tomorrow really never happens. But if he decides that he is going to look about the garage tomorrow on his own volition, garage is clean.
It's done.
It is a strange dilemma that I am yet to understand, because I found it happening with me for some time. When I was at my mom's home, I committed to cutting the yard every Saturday, raking it up and clean it up. And when I came to where I was living, I had a much smaller thing. And my wife would say to me, Courtney, you're not cutting the lawn. And I would say, yeah, man. And the way that I dealt with it was to hire somebody to do what was less than 1/5 of what I used to do. And I was a little bit puzzled with my own response. Where did that come from? What happened right there? So this is something we love do. So how come I must remember we have international audience. How is it that I'm now in my own committed relationship, and yet some of the very projects that I would naturally do, I'm not committing to?
Does it change because a woman told you to do it?
I am trying to figure out if even inside of my own head, because I couldn't understand it, I said. And here is something that I've been investigating. I've seen Dr. Herbert Gale's studies. And tomorrow I'm doing a program on Love 101 at between 10 a.m. and midday, talking about violence, stop violence against men, women, and children. But I asked myself a question: how is it that 85% of our homes in Jamaica are run by women, which I believe at least 50% of those women are teaching their boys not to hit a woman? I think it's almost at least 50% is telling them that, yet our boys still come out violent.
Mm.
I mean,
Yes.
that's something I'm discussing tomorrow. And I'm trying to figure out what is it that causes us men at some point to respond differently. And it's strange. Listen carefully to this. It's strange. If a strange young lady from next door asks the same thing to cut the yard, you'll find that most men will go and cut that yard and leave their yard uncut.
That's interesting.
So he commits to a situation where he's not committed, but the one to which he should be committed, he leaves it undone. I've been trying to. Yes, go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out, is it because women tend to always like to give orders? I'm gonna say that. Women.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I really don't know what it is. I really don't. I am trying to figure it out, as I said, even for myself, because the lady next door, I don't know if it's because she was in a shorts and wife. I am trying to figure out
right
what would cause for me to commit, or for men to commit. Let me not say me, because I don't do that word. To commit to doing the neighbor's law, who is a female, but leave your own undone. You will give a ride to the lady going down the road, but the committed relationship you're in, you're not giving your wife the ride down the road.
Yeah.
Because the other person's not telling you what to do. The other persons are not saying, "Hey, I can't do this," and keep on asking you to do things. Other persons are there.
I cannot agree. I cannot agree.
You see. Let me jump in here, if you don't mind. Let me jump in here. I think that, and the great point I think you make, Pastor Morris, and my young lady. I think I'm hearing something that are very intriguing to me. But people make commitment all the time. Men make the commitment, and women make commitment all day, every day, all day long. It's all about duration and goals and objectives. So that people make short-term commitment for short-term objectives, and some make long-term commitment for long-term objectives. I'll give an example. A young girl can marry a guy. She could be 30 years old. The guy's 70, 80. I'm going to marry this gentleman here. Don't really love him, though, but I want his money. The guy lives for 20 years. She was hoping that he would live for 5, maybe, or 4. But he keep living and living and living. Guess what? She ain't going nowhere. She's hoping that the day will come when he dies and get his wealth. So I think a lot of men
committed to the money.
Committed to that. So the guy who looking across the neighbor's house is saying, "Man, I gotta do ABC because I want EFG." All right. So the woman that he's with, the lawn, he's not cutting that lawn, is not a deal breaker yet. Or he's not doing that, it's not a deal breaker yet. When it's a deal breaker, then he may see another kind of commitment. But anyway, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts.
Or is it that he already has the wife, or he already has somebody, so there's nothing to work hard for, or
right? Because that's an interesting point. Because I'm listening to you, DJ KTE, and I listened to Reverend Morrison, and one of the questions jump out at me: is it because some people are just lazy? Like, just lazy. I don't want to commit to this because it's going to take work.
Well, it's cutting neighbor's grass. That's work.
But they do it on somebody else's own.
Yeah, so it's working. It's sweating.
So it's they don't
Shirt
have
off
it
and
yet. It's almost like when men are pursuing women, they go so hard to get the woman, and then when they finally get the woman, sometimes they don't do anything.
Exactly.
It's almost the same thing. So you're committed to this person already. So why do I have to do the work?
So
I already have you.
Let's look on the Converse.
Is it okay?
Maybe look on the Converse.
Yes,
So
go ahead.
we see our wives or women who we are committed to, who have committed to us, dressing beautifully, putting on the eyeliner, everything, and going out to work where other men are. But
Yes.
yet when we come home, we get the bingo bags and the hug sticks and what is that? You know?
You have to love me in all parts of
Yes,
me.
please.
Let me.
But you know, I've had some men come to me and spoken to me that even when they're going to the wife, bag them find a thought. Some like them going to somebody else. And the very
Because
thing
they
that
got
she
bored.
refused, the thing she refused to wear at home for him,
Yes.
she wears it.
But there's also
You know,
another
no
case. There's
excuse
also
for
another
abuse,
case.
you know.
There.
Gloria, Gloria. There's no excuse for abuse, man. You see, you're going to have to go with DJ KT tonight, you know, and say, Courtney, we're not going down. We're not going down. You're going to realize you're making the man prophetic word come true.
Oh my Lord.
I want to touch what DJ KT talked about. Long-term commitment versus short-term commitments. Marriage is a lifetime commitment, I would believe. And sometimes we take into a marriage short-term goals, looking at something that really should be worked out, analyzed, processed over time. And far often we fail to realize I remember in my 20s, I could run down that road anytime I want without breaking a sweat. And by the time I got to 40, I slowed down a bit. But the magic was 42, where I'd run down the road and the stomach wouldn't move at all, trying to get rid of it. It now took weeks. And you find out that even in long-term commitments, as the process grows older and you're getting closer to the goal, that somehow it takes even a greater drive. I don't want to use the word commitment, a greater drive to ensure that you maintain that which you begun. And when it comes on to commitment, perseverance and persistence are key characteristics to ensure that you keep your word, that whatever you have said, that you have committed to, is going to happen. I heard Lady Abigail said it. If you're becoming weary, if you're becoming tired, one of the things that you will have to do is to find a way to liven up things. I guess probably that's when Gloria will talk about sex toys. Find something to ensure that it becomes interesting.
Yes.
And that, you know, date night. But in terms of committing, we have to come to a place of recognizing, therefore, that commitment fears, commitment phobias reside ultimate in individuals who have decided or are unsure about their decision to continue in whatever they were envisaging for the future. And the factors that affect those were some that were already said, but trust is one of the things. Experience, past experience, fear of rejection, which I think is really at the top of the list. Fear of rejection, that I can't tell what is going to happen further in the future. And if I continue, you know, I need to have a side chick. I need to have a side this. I need to have a, you know, like you're ordering fast food and you need some side orders.
Extra fries.
It is so wrong that unless we are so focused, wearing blinkers, that the distractions around us don't get our attention, we can miss commitment. Distractions really causes commitment to frizzle out.
How would you address this this idea here? Now you think about people who were from very early age, right? They might have been in a family that had good idea about finances, and that 1, 2, 3 years of exposure, they became great financial personnel. Maybe somebody who was in maybe invention ideas, right? They got exposed to that. It could be even maybe a ministry pastoral thing, and the child becomes into ministry and so forth, right? So if you think about commitment and the way it looks to me, and maybe to many of us, it doesn't look very, very exciting. It looks very scary, right?
It looks like a chore.
Yeah, like a chore. So if you in an environment where you've seen so many people who are quote unquote say Christians in the church, loving the Lord, reading the Bible, getting divorced, in the church, getting married, loving the Lord, getting divorced again. People say, what's going on here? This road doesn't look very good to me at all. It looks very scary. So we get conditioned to the fact that, listen to me, I don't know, this commitment thing. I've seen people who I think are good, well, probably very good. Maybe they had money already. They had a good family. They had a good job. What went wrong? I mean, no matter was sick, and they're breaking apart. So, of course, how would you look at that from your perspective, and address knowledge of something and how it affects someone in not wanting to be committed or having a fear of commitment? Because it's a reality, for so many. Let's start with you, Miss Lawrence. So how would you address that idea?
So I've been in that situation where I've been divorced. So
okay.
I guess I can talk on that. So when I got married, I didn't get married to get a divorce. I got married for the long haul. The problem is that I don't think people know themselves before they get married. I don't think people know what they want before they get married. I don't think people know who they are before they get married. Wow. I think people get married so that the other person can make them feel loved. When people need to feel loved and to know themselves and love themselves and get married, so the person can add to their happiness and not be their happiness. So when I got divorced, or when I was getting divorced or so, persons used to say, oh no, because you guys had seemed to be the perfect couple and whatever. The problem is people didn't know what was happening in the marriage. For me, I believe it's not something good to do. Well, I don't know, but I tend to, even if I'm having a problem, if we're having problems and we go out, nobody's gonna know. Because I think that's how marriage is supposed to be. So now persons have said to me, oh, but you guys have been hypocritical about it all along. No, we have not been hypocritical, but we have had a committed relationship. We're committed to each other. It didn't work because the other person did not want to let go of being single.
Oh.
Right?
Big one.
Right. So in terms of that, it was a situation where, but where I'm from, we have the wife, but the wife know that there's a matey. Right?
Oh.
So
side chick in America.
Yeah. So I was not okay with it just having the ring and having the title. Right, so that's where it
there's a song about that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So yes, there is.
So
yes, there is.
So people are still searching for who they are or what they want. So some people just hear of being a husband or being a wife and they want to go into it. And I was saying to someone today, people jump into the big commitment of being married without knowing, why do I want to get married? Do I want to get married just because I want a ring? Do I want to get married just because I want to be a missus? Because at the end of the day, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be so unhappy with just being a missus while your husband is out there. Or it can be the flip side, just being a husband and your wife is out there with other men.
So clearly, I see Lady Misty, and I'm thinking about this, Lady Misty, right? And by the way, for all you engaged participants, I see your questions. I will not ignoring you here. We love it, love the engagement, and I'm hoping that there'll be a time in the show where we can actually address some of those questions. Okay, so see you.
There will be.
Yes,
there will be.
All right.
I have a question I want to post. I have a question I want to pose right now.
Yes.
DJ KTE, I wanted to finish your thought, and then I'm going to pose this question. So we're going to take the questions as they come. I don't want to distract our guests too much because we want to finish the thoughts. But don't worry, we're going to go through the questions as they come. And please, if we don't get to respond to all the questions, please don't feel bad. All right, we are here for you, and we will try as best to go through as many of them as we can. All right, so DJ KT, you want to finish your thought, and then I ask this question.
Yes, I will. And I know Pastor Mark was saying something too. You can probably chime on this if you want to add this thought as well. But I believe that the issue is not what people want so much is a problem. I think they're not honest about it. If you want to get married just for the ring, just say that. I want to get married just for the ring. If you want to get married to be called a missus, just do it. See, I think it's the dishonesty that I think that gets us all the time. All right, and because they're men who have 3-4 wives and they're very happy in that construct because they're open and they're honest about it. Not saying it's correct, not saying it's the right thing to do, but they're honest about it. And I think the problem with us, we're dishonest with ourselves. And to go back to the individual who wrote the letter, one thing that I heard in the letter that was very, very important, and about commitment, and it is scary. It's a very I live here in the States. I'm in America, and believe me, I've had this thing of the court system. When you face the court system here, and they figure, well, we're now going to make some division and some subtraction to your life, and say, well, this goes here and that goes there, and you might have worked hard for your life, all your life, for this business or this particular thing or this whatever it is, and we're going to divide it here, and you will cry, ball, and scream. It's about numbers. It's scary. People can change, become mean. Wonder you were kind last week. Now you're like a monster. What happened? I mean, good God, what did I marry here? You're a monster. You're a beast. And so it's like, so there's so many different things that can make you just find this thing so scary. Pastor Morris, and I deal with the question that Misty posed.
All right. Go ahead, Pastor Morrison.
It's one of the reasons why we continue to talk about premarital counseling. And even when I do premarital counseling, I present all the hard points. I would tell them marriage can be bliss. It's supposed to be bliss, but it can also cause blisters. The first two issues that I deal with in doing premarital counseling is the issue of honesty and transparency. If you are having fears that if you reveal some things from now that the person is going to forsake you, then the truth is, if you do it inside of the marriage, it will still happen and can happen. Therefore, be honest from now to know whether or not you should make the commitment to be together for an extended period. It's better to do that. Yes. The honesty, as DJ KT says. Yes. Otherwise, we end up in serious, complicated matters when we get into marriage. If I had 5 women before I marry you, and one is a baby mother, like for example, on the documentation that we have, the young lady knew about 2 children, and on the document the man wrote that he had 3. The marriage never happened.
It's honest.
That's not honest.
It has to be honesty before that. When you get in, both persons must be either agreed to these positions before. Otherwise, when you get in and you have these dissimilarities, you are going to have war.
A lot of problems.
It's very important to be honest from the beginning.
I want to go back to the letter just before I ask the questions. And there is something that this person said, and just by reading the letter and picking up, this person is a woman who wrote this. And there's a part of the letter that says, and let me find it, she's having a reaction to this man that she met. Because he's being transparent, he's being open, and she doesn't know she should commit so soon, or she doesn't know she should commit because she says, maybe I'm so used to struggling that if I don't struggle for it, I don't believe it's true. And that really spoke volumes for me, because it has been such a struggle that if it comes, we automatically question it, because it's like, this is like too good to be true. And so if somebody is willing to commit to you, we start to nitpick at it, to find the faults quickly, because this is not something that is the norm. So, and I find that especially with women, because of, and this is the overall base, because of past experiences, because she did say it in her letter, that's saying, because she's wondering now if it's because of the past heartbreak, why it's easy for her now to just to nitpick at this person who she just met. And she says this person is calling her, is telling her that he loves her, and all of that. And to double down on that, the question was asked, the first question that was asked was that how soon is too soon for a man to call, for a man to call a woman baby, or to say he loves her. Is it is an early I love you something to be concerned about? Or what does it say about our culture? Because automatically this person is saying, I love you is a strong word, and that's something, you want to commit to. Is it too early?
And I
is
also
it being
heard Lady Misty.
transparent too early?
Lady Misty, I also heard that she said it's a different culture. So maybe is that culturally, or is that a cultural thing where the individual maybe a norm to say those things early?
Right. Or is it that it's normal for her to struggle to get that out of a man? So for her, for this man now to say it so freely, and seemingly be so genuine about it, and that's another discussion, because sometimes there are men who just go through the charades just to, get it, and so they put on a huge show to get it. So they'll say all the right things and do all the right things.
What turned you on?
For you to. For them to commit to that particular moment, but not the relationship. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? Do I have to struggle to get commitment? And if it comes willingly, how do we approach that?
When I'm hearing what she's saying is, first of all, she has a problem does she have a problem that he is transparent?
It seemed that way.
Why?
Yes.
Why?
Because she's saying, because it's raising questions in her mind, because she's not used to this. Usually, it would probably take some time for him to be so open, and men are not usually so open so fast. She'd probably have to dive deep, or to ask the probing questions. A man is not usually out there with it so quickly. Usually it's the women who would say, would have the deep conversations and so on. Most times, I'm not saying all, because there are some men out there that are like that, but because we have the norm to struggle through to get what we want, we have to struggle through, right? She's waiting for that struggle to come, but it's not happening in this relationship, and so it kind of scares her a little.
Which is understandable, of course.
Yes, it scares her a little, that commitment. Do I commit to this? Do I throw myself in now because this man is like this, or is it a sham?
I'm hearing a couple of issues myself. Again, I refer to past experiences.
Yes.
Transparency, and as Lady Mitzi says, most men aren't that transparent. He's a professional and he has come forward so easily. That scares her a bit, mainly because it may be from the past experience a similar thing occurred, and her heart has been shattered, as she said in the letter. As well as it could be, I'm trying to put this, a lack of confidence. Someone asked the question, could it be an esteem issue? how does she value herself? One of the things we love to do in premarital is to have persons talk about themselves. I wanted to refer to it when Gloria had spoken about it. Is it that we are seeking happiness from the other individual? And if that other individual becomes the source of our happiness, then they are in control of our happiness. The other individual cannot be the source of your happiness. The moment you are relying on that, you are going to get some heavy hits. That person is not one that genuinely seeks to persist in making you happy. You're going to be disappointed.
Rev, does experience play a role? Well, and I'm guessing it does. It plays a role in commitment. Like, for example, and this is something. This is a personal thing. That, like, for example, I don't watch romance movies.
Yes.
I personally don't, because no. Listen now. No, I used to read a lot of romance novels. But you know, in high school growing up, you know, I think I read over 100 or 200 books. You know, I and to be honest, I read it. The storylines are usually the same. You know, boy meets girl. There's a conflict, whatever conflict there is. All right, and there whether the man has to fight for the woman or fight for his job or whatever. There's a steamy moment. And you know, there might be a breaking apart, there might be a conflict, and then there's a resolution, and there's a coming back together in the end of the book. And I find the books more interesting. I don't watch romance movie because I don't think love is like that.
I get that.
And a friend of mine is saying to me, probably because you have never experienced it. And this is not only this is from before I got married. I don't watch romance books because I don't see men treating women like that.
I mean,
I don't see the men. I don't see men, you know, committing to that relationship to say, you know, I'm standing outside in the rain to talk to this girl. They do it.
Let me correct you. They do it. However, yes, you know what? Pastor Morris, they do it. Remember, the movie's only for an hour. The movie's only for an hour.
The movie's only for an hour. Right. And so I don't want to.
I'm on your side with this one. Oh my goodness.
And I don't want to get myself into that vacuum where I expect that, because I don't want it to happen. But on another hand, there's somebody who would say to me, "But you can't think like that, because there are actually men who are out there like that." So you know, it's just, you know, I don't know.
I mean, listen. I would say this. I say this real quick. Now, folks, you know, my mind goes to some very interesting places when I hear these conversations. Right? It really does. Now, 10 years ago, maybe a little more. Anything online was probably a little more real, I believe. These days, anything online that we see,
it's not real.
You have a whole lot of reasons to question it, even if it looks real. I'm telling you, I just know someone recently who met someone online, and the person did everything that would make it legitimately, clearly, family pictures, kids same way, everything looked at just like the person would, like a real thing, and it was a technology. They were using a technology that give a whole. As if I'm talking to you, Pastor Morrison, I was talking to you in a video, and it wasn't you. A real technology that does that right now.
I have met.
Are you aware of that?
Oh yes, that
yes, it's real. It's happening now.
And I've also met a convert. I've counseled a couple who met themselves online, and I'm one of those who I have to confess, very skeptical about online relationships. But I had a couple who actually were online relationship that turned out well and are still married. But again, I think a lot of that when you have a mediator, a third person as a premarital counselor or some counselor that will ask the hard questions.
Yes.
Again, you can push and pull some things from individuals that you know will actually tell you whether or not they should be. I'm one of those marriage counselors who I don't tell everyone who come before me yes. I go through the 6 sessions. At the end of it, I make an assessment and I say, this is my conclusion. If you are seeking me to do the marriage, I don't believe you should. I believe you should go through a few more sessions. I believe if we're talking about commitment, I hear someone here who is not certain about committing. I hear someone here who is throwing their all in it. Someone is going to get hurt.
Yes.
You know,
That's good.
I've had persons who
But
come
in all
before
of
me,
that, does it?
it's, and I say I'm not the best person to come to. You know, there is no guarantee even that your conclusions are correct. There are those who work that way. So therefore, I say it one more time, as I said in the beginning. It is incumbent on the individual. It's an individual perspective, whether or not they have been once bitten, twice shy, whether or not they have been hurt before, what their cultural experience is, their issue on rejection and fear, how they may have been treated as a child growing up in terms of esteem. All of those are going to affect a person's commitment, or even if they have committed, if they see something in that committing to an individual that breaks trust, commitment automatically, well, not automatically, most often becomes broken.
Yeah, Gloria was saying something here.
Yeah, I was 2 things. Well, from Lady
Go ahead.
Misty when she was talking earlier about not reading romance book. I mean, I can understand because I love romance novels. I'll read them and I'll
Oh,
watch
I've
them.
read them. I've read them, Lady
but
Adigold. I've read them. I've read the Mild 12 to the 50 Shades of Grey.
everything.
I've read them.
Yes,
I've read them.
but from a child growing up, I was not the girl who is planning her wedding and have an idea of how her wedding's gonna be. Those things have never been of interest to me. Because I've already known from a child growing up that that's not really how it was. I think what caught me off guard was songs. I love listening to songs. So when I listened to, I saw the sun, the moon, the mountains, and the rivers. I saw whatever when I made Sweet Love to You. And the first time I had sex, it fell flat. There was no sun, there was no moon, there was no star.
I saw the sun, the moon,
and I was
expectations.
Right, and it's because of what we listen to. So we listen to something, or we watch things and we hear about, oh, we're having, this, everybody's having this romantic wedding and this life and how you expect that it's gonna be after marriage. And every day there's gonna be sex. Nobody can have sex every day like that. And every day there's gonna, so there are some expectations.
Except for Reverend Morris, I believe Reverend Morris is an exception.
And then what Reverend Morris was talking about in terms of
it's sweeter than the day before. Okay, all right. Okay, fine.
In terms of what Reverend Morris was talking about in terms of the counseling before. I had premarital counseling before. I had it almost a year before I got married. 1 full year of premarital counseling. And I remember when I did my last session, my dad called the pastor that did it with us and asked him, are they ready to get married? And the pastor said, yes. He said, yes, they're ready. And, etc. And he told them the weak parts that need to work on and what I'm going to work on, because I'm one that went into marriage thinking that my husband was going to give me all this love. And he was gonna be all that. I was right. So
waiting for you.
So when the marriage failed, I was like, but the pastor said it was gonna work. How comes it did not work? And I don't think I don't think up to now I don't think the counsel that I had had done a lot of in-depth, especially when he saw that there were some uncertainties or some flaws, because I think it's better he had said, no, wait and get these things worked on. But I think they were counting on the aspect of, oh yes, I'm going to change and make it work. I'm going to change. And there was no change. So because he said, I'm going to change, my ex-husband at that time said, oh, I'm going to change. Red flag. So went on.
Red flag. Yeah. I'm going to piggyback. I'm going to piggyback on that. I'm going to piggyback on that. Just to pause here for a minute to say you are listening to Let's Talk Relationships on UME Radio. We are here with Lady Misty, DJ KTE, Reverend Morrison, and Lady Addie Gold, and we are discussing the topic commitment scares me. And since we're talking about expectations, there is a question that says, do you think men think that women expect too much from them, why they're afraid to commit?
Okay, you know what? This right here is crazy. Why it seems like some of the women, all right, they want to get married, all right, and when they get married, it's like the job is done. It's like it was about, like they're there for the woman was about being married, and it's like they got married now, and it's like that's it. And so,
but hold on, DJ KTE, that's two different questions.
I know, but it just seemed that way because as the question kind of went to that point of want too much. It's like that much is I got you, and that's it, and we good now.
So do we as women expect too much?
Yeah, the commitment. Yeah, the commitment that you want too early. You want a commitment too early just to be married.
Do we expect too much? So we chase men away from being committed to us because of our expectations. Maybe
the timing of it is the issue.
One of the things I do in premarital is ask persons, even although they're together, not to correspond, list the expectations of what you want from your spouse. Because I think it's important to discuss those before you enter. List the expectation. List 10 things that you love. List 5 things that you hate and you don't want to tolerate. List 3 things that you can tolerate that you don't really like. We go through those things because it is important to know before what are your expectations. If you believe at that stage she's asking too much or he's asking too much, then if it is not that you intend to fulfill it, then you're going to have an unfulfilled marriage in the first place. Unfulfilled expectations is going to cause a break in anything that we call commitment, especially if it persists. It is something that must be looked at. It can't be otherwise. Most often in a lot of premarital counseling, no one asks anybody what their expectations are. It's basically assumed that both persons have discussed that. The family life document that Dr. Barry Davidson did in 1972 has literally 100 questions. I would tell those who come, hey, I have literally 100 questions to ask you. And when I'm
Reverend Morrison, my first when I just started counseling, my pastor at the time, listen, he printed that document, and I'm like, what?
Yes,
go through the entire. He actually sent it. I think I still have it in my email right now because he sent it like as a PDF document.
Wow.
That we had to. We went through the entire he sent the entire document, and I'm like, no, this is serious.
That's for life here. This is serious.
I will tell the couples that there is a day that you have to spend 2 hours with me, prepare, set that time aside because we're going to do it. You're going to answer those 100 questions first by looking at them, and then the next session we're going to spend answering those questions for the next 3 sessions. It is important. And so if someone is willing to go through that sort of scrutiny, someone is willing to go through all that sort of transparency. Here's a question I ask. What happens? I will say to the young lady, what happens if you find out they have another woman? What's your position on that.
Mhm.
And I will
Yeah.
turn to the woman and say, what happened if I'm boxing in your face one day? What happened if he slaps you? What will be your position? I said, this is not what we want to happen, but we have heard of it happening quite often. What will be your position? What if he loses an arm or leg, or she gets, acid, or she loses her beauty, or you guys put on weight? Ask the possibilities that exist. Will you still feel the same way? You're making vows that says for better or worse, richer or poor, sickness or health. It's not multiple choice. It is not multiple choice. And therefore, if you are declaring that, then ensure it is something that you're committing to. I want to touch something that DJ KTE says about even the wedding. I love to say to them, on the day that you're getting married, my wife will tell you, because we came to this agreement, that our wedding is it's not the bride's day. If it's a bride's day, then go get married to yourself.
That's I believe that too. Yes.
Our day. If this is about your planning alone, go plan it with somebody else. I'm very serious about that. It has to be both. The traditional thing of, it's the woman's day, and even when I give the marriage certificate, I give it to the man, because the bride's dress doesn't even have a pocket. If the groom decides giving it to the bride, at the end of it, that's his choice.
Wow.
But on the day of the wedding, you ensure you have the right colors, the right cake, the right persons in your bridal party, the right pastor, the right church. Now, what if you decided that all the days after the marriage ceremony, you are going to do the same? You're going to have that same focus, that same commitment to the rest of it. It sounds unreal, but because we're thinking of the day so much and the pageantry, I'm so glad for the pageantry. And the expense, I need 50 persons at the wedding. No, you need 4 persons at the wedding. You are not putting on a show for everyone else. At the end of the day, your commitment to each other. Everybody else really are there to witness what you have declared. Yes? And I believe a lot more of this needs to be said both to our men and to our women. That it is not just, it's easy to get married. It takes work
to stay married. I have a comment. I have a comment here that I want to read. That says, "I've been in a long-term relationship where my partner complained that I wanted to change him. He did adjust for the sake of the relationship and admitted it was hard for him. Do we commit because we want to, or we commit for the sake of? How should commitment work?"
That's a big question. You don't want to try that one first.
I want to hear Lady Adigol. Yes.
Look at my book, because I still have my book by Barry Davidson.
Come on now. You're bringing out the guns tonight. You're bringing out the guns tonight.
Hi, that's a hard question, because I had problems. Should I say changing or trying to change things in terms of what they want to do? And here my view on it. So before getting married, I was doing all sorts of things. I was dancing, I was singing, I was doing backgrounds, I was doing everything. After I got married, my ex wanted me to change. You can't do these. You can't come out anymore. Because you have to spend time now with me. You can't. So I lost myself in the process of changing.
I know that person, don't you?
Yes, you do. So I lost myself in changing.
You lost your cool.
In changing everything for the person to make the person happy. What did it? Yes. It made me resentful. I was angry. I was bitter.
Unfulfilled.
I was unfulfilled. I then, because of all of that, I didn't enjoy being married.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I did not enjoy any experience in marriage. I didn't enjoy the sex. I didn't enjoy having a husband. I didn't enjoy anything. In fact,
Did you guys go counseling? I'm being terrible.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but but it's true. It happens because I mean there are some things that we can change, and I don't like to say change. I prefer compromise on.
Yeah.
Because changing oneself mean, all right, I used to do this. I'm not gonna be myself anymore because no, you want me to be this person. I'm not this person. You didn't get married to this person. But if it is that there are things that are being done that will cause harm to the relationship, then I can see, because if it's a situation where I have 10 men and you say, no, you're going to have to drop these men for me. Although I think that should have really happened before the marriage. Those things have to change. Smoking, drinking a lot. Those things that will cause problems to the marriage. But for other things, I'm not quite sure how I feel about changing for a marriage because of the experience. Reverend Morrison, because of the experience I've had before.
So you're not sure how you feel about changing for that commitment or committing to that kind of change.
I will try and compromise, but in terms of changing, you see, because I've lost myself already, I've known how it is to lose myself. I do not feel like I need to lose myself for someone else again. I can compromise.
And that's understandable.
Yeah.
I hear.
All right, Reverend Morrison, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, because it's very important. We must not try to change individuals. I actually don't believe in that. We can influence change, and it's still the decision of the other individual to change. Marriage is a partnership, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to confess and be like Paul. Paul says, strive for perfection, but he says it's not that I've already attained. And so what I'm about to tell you is something that I am still striving towards ensuring happening, even at 30 years of marriage. Marriage must be partnership. Marriage must be, how can I make the best of you with what you see as your best? Looking out for the person's best. But it must be that it is the person is saying that's their interest, not that you are thinking what is my best interest and you are working it out for me. Because if I don't believe that you aren't giving me help, you are destroying me. And I'm going to resent it, be unfulfilled. I mean, what Gloria just told me hurt my heart, the dancing and that and what you used to do. Girl, you should be doing much more than that and having production companies and helping others. That's we must help each other to build our dreams. It's a partnership.
True.
How is it that you're going to elevate? We must complement each other. How is it that you're going to help me to be elevated? How can I elevate you? And as we lift each other up and we continue to rise, then we become better with each other. I'm feeling fulfilled. You're feeling fulfilled. There's nothing like two persons feeling satisfied, fulfilled, and feeling that you have helped me to achieve my goal. That sort of relationship is going to last.
So would you say? So would you say, as the letter, the person said in the letter, that it seems like folks are not really interested in commitment. It's about what they get and what they want.
Yes.
And because if you think about it, to get involved with someone, you must have been getting something. What is a good conversation? What is a good moments, or maybe romantic, maybe even something spiritual. A lot of people got divorced. They were praying together before. They were praying and they were fasting. They felt like they were connected before they got married. And it's like it just changed. But I think again, it tells me that people don't really understand what commitment really means. They really, really don't get it. And it's like you think about somebody who goes into the army, and they watch movies all along and they see what it looks like in boot camp until they go, and 4 o'clock in the morning, they're waking up by a loud sound saying, "Get up!" And it's not no play game. Get up, we're going to get out, we're going to run. And they're like, whoa, what's this? They now realize this me. Am I in this or what? 8 weeks of boot camp. Am I here to stay or what? Commitment is made. They realize that I got to go through this. I'm committed to this 8 weeks. So I think too many times within the early stage of people coming together, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of words and just human interaction, the emotion, the feelings. But the reality is that real commitment is not understood. It's not even really been discussed. It really hasn't. And so we fool ourselves, and that's why we get shocked and wonder, wait a minute, I didn't really understand what I was doing here. I thought I did. And I think that's what happened a lot. So that's just my thought on that.
Most often we'll hear the term, this is not what I committed to.
Yeah.
You often hear that in unfulfilled.
Yes.
This is not what I committed to. This is not what I wanted.
Yes.
And I'm going straight back to where we started. The issue of transparency, the issue of honesty. If it's the sex I want, really and truly, but even if two Christians are saying, really and truly, I burn, your body look good. Oh, sorry, international audience.
Honest.
That's what I want. But there are few of us who will be that honest. Very few. I really love you and I really want you. And in spite of the 1,000 things when I see that you don't like, I just want the one thing that I like. Then when did 1,000 outweigh one? We tend to delude ourselves sometimes, but commitment is real. Commitment is true. Commitment is honest. Commitment is achievable. Commitment is something that once we do not allow the distractions, and there will always be distractions. Once we focus, and it's not easy to, please don't think that I'm saying it's easy to. There are solutions that even if when we lose our focus or break our commitment, that we can recommit, we can start again. But that is going to take willing participation from both partner involved. If we can actually look and talk about partnership more often in our relationships, how is it that God designed for two to become one? How is that achieved? In all that we do, it has to be therefore a working together as individualistic as we are, that we are selfless and we are looking out for the other individual for what they want to become, and I'm helping you to achieve while you are helping me to achieve. It is, I don't know, I don't think it's euphoric nor idealistic, but that God intended for that to happen. And we saw that even for the most ordained relationship with Adam and Eve, it didn't work out that way. I mean, Eve go chat up with the snake, and the snake said, my girl, daddy not gonna really beat you, You like the thing, go after the thing. And sometimes we miss that. I hear that in our discussions far too often. If it's something you really like, go after it, man. And I love to put in a cautionary statement. If it's something you like that will destroy you, that will not help you in achieving your goal, that is not godly, leave it alone. Don't touch it. It's going to destroy you. When in Jamaica, we had our old time saying, well, sweet nanny goat to go running belly. Yes? And we have to be careful.
Any more questions? Let me see.
Yes, we are winding down. This comment came into me. I'm going to read it. It says, I hear Miss Lawrence speaking about her partner wanting to change her. What about the partners who don't want to change bad habits? It's not finished. Hold on, let me find it back. Yes. What about the partner who don't want to change the bad habits? I am at a point where I'm just existing because he will not change.
I would address that, Ms. Lawrence.
Well, thinking about it, for persons who don't want to change, They decide that they're not going to change their bad habits. I don't know. I'm at the place of cut. No. All right, let's be frank. I'm at a place of cut. I don't stay for anything that it's gonna destroy my peace. I've learned to do that. My partner did not want to change his bad habits. As I said, when I said to him, you can't continue having other women out there. You can't continue. And his response was, right, well, this is how it is. In the ghetto, we have other women and we have our wife.
Wow.
You wear the ring, you do whatever.
Wow.
When it is,
Wow.
That's a bold guy.
when it is that I would say, okay,
Why am I?
hold on. When it is that I would say to him, well, you need to stop speaking to me that way, or addressing me that way, or saying certain things, or calling me names. You need to stop doing it. Well, so we call people names. So there's always an excuse for things. And at a point, I have to start thinking about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna continue taking it? I mean, yes, I always say pray about it, go to counseling. I went to counseling for 6 years. And I went basically by myself because the other person said they don't need to change. I am the one that is a problem. Fine.
One question. I'm sorry to cut you. Were you in the church at the time? Were you in the church?
Yes.
And was he in the church?
Yes.
No way.
And he says that this is how it is.
And he said that.
Wait.
Wow.
So,
mind blown.
So there is.
Was that the Church of Christ or the Church of Satan?
I don't know. I don't know, but I mean,
Good question, Rev.
I got the help I needed. I am the one that needed to change in certain ways. I changed how I dealt with things. So instead of being a hothead about these things that happen, as my counselor said to me at the point, if he does something that upsets you, ignore it. And that for me was hard to do, but it took a while for me to ignore and move on, because when it is I started ignoring, the funny thing is he started wondering, how comes I'm ignoring now? So he started wanting to change. But by that time, I mentally was done with it. I was out of it. And the truth is, sometimes they don't want to change. And what they do sometimes is to put you out. I keep on telling, I was put out of my home. I was put out of my marriage. I went home and couldn't go inside because there was he had another woman. Not at the house, but because I told him you need to get rid of this woman. So certain times these things they won't change. You have to make that decision to change. So it's either you're gonna stay there or go to counseling and try work on yourself in hope that the other person will change. Because what I realize is continuing to talk to somebody about something is not gonna make them change. It's like kids. You tell them don't touch the stove, they're gonna touch the stove because they want to know why you're telling them not to touch the stove. So for adults, it's almost the same way where you say, do not cheat. Well, I'm going to cheat because I want to know what about cheating, why you don't want me to cheat about it. You understand? Wow. So I had to make a decision. For me, it's better for me to leave and save myself the hurt, because you don't want to change. So if you don't want to change, for me, I personally don't see why staying if it is that somebody's the one to change, because we're not living single lives. We're living married life. And when the person say, listen, I feel I don't see the difference between being single and being married, so I don't know what you're complaining about. That's when I knew, okay, it's time for me to go.
You know what?
Reverend Morrison, do you have anything to say?
Wow. That must have been, Gloria, oh my God, that must have been rough. I'm hearing all of this and I'm feeling that.
No, that is some heavy stuff.
I don't know. Yeah. I can tell you, there are times that I wonder if you were my daughter and the man told me all of that, a boy and a trouble.
Wow, that's
incredible.
You know, Pastor Morris.
Eh?
That's heavy. That's heavy.
That's hard. That's rough. I can understand. Well, I've not experienced it, but the pain that you must have gone through. I mean, I'm sitting here listening to you, and imagine I've known you all these years, and I'm hearing your story now.
Yeah, it breaks your heart, man. It breaks your heart. Yeah.
I mean, but the truth is, and I've said
That's
it
just a
before,
heart.
I don't think I'll change anything. Why?
Wow.
Because I have become a better person because of it.
Experience
And
teacher.
I have grown. I have grown. So now I'm in a new marriage. Certain things I'm not taking. Certain things I know what I want. So if it is that I'm not comfortable, I would say before I used to think about ego. I know I don't want to say this to hurt the person. No, I'm talking more.
Very good.
I love myself because of the past experience. Instead of hearing that, oh, you're so fat. I've never been fat, but I've heard for most of my marriage that I've been fat. I've heard that, oh, there was a lot of abuse there. There was a lot of things there. So if it is that the person doesn't want to change that, it doesn't make any sense changing, because what's going to happen? You're going to lose yourself. And at the end of it, you're either going to decide, do I want to live or die? Because that's where I was at. So commitment is not staying till you're dead. Commitment is staying with someone who also wants to stay with you and work with you and build with you and love you,
Yeah.
Yeah, commitment is not something you want to be
Right.
broken.
Wow. We are winding down.
You have to.
Yes.
Yeah, we get in there. Lady Misty.
There's actually a scripture that people don't see, that actually tomorrow I'm also going to be talking about, that in the Bible in Malachi 2, where it talks about God hates divorce, that many of us don't see that. It also said God hates domestic violence, where it says he hates a young man who covers his maiden in treachery. And you read further down to see that it is actually talking about abuse physically, emotionally, and dealing with her as he ought not to. And so far too often we miss that. That is also written in the scriptures. You know, we can't apologize. I can't apologize on behalf of nobody. I love to tell person that individuals have to apologize for themselves for when we do wrong. If we could repent for persons, then everybody would be saved. But it doesn't work that way. You know, sometimes when I hear ministers repenting on behalf of people, and you see why God not answering it, because repentance is individualistic. But I won't get into that. The fact of the matter is, we have to. God doesn't want us to be unfulfilled. If we are making a commitment that is not godly, that doesn't bring us to godly satisfaction, that doesn't bring us to a place of peace, the shalom of God, that we are safe and protected, and the house doesn't become a place of horror as opposed to a place of safety and refuge. Commitment to that household. There are some things we have to. Old time people say, you put your foot them in your hand and run.
And Pastor Morrison, I tell you, you said some really, really very powerful things. As I hear the individual who wrote the letter into the program, I want to kind of address this issue here. As you might be fearful of getting into a committed relationship, I believe the key to that is that you're going knowing who you are and whose you are. And I think God has given us the ability and the wherewith to know ourselves, know Him the right way, to get connected with Him. So whatever we go into or who we go with, He's really the anchor in our mind, in our expectation, in the outcome. So I think too many times we get connected, or we get into something with too much of the humanity, too much of the carnality hanging. And so therefore, if I get into something, I'm going in with God. What is the job? What is into a relationship? What is into a new location? I'm going with God in this situation here. And whatever happens to that situation here, I'm leaving with God. I think that's just a good precedence of how we are and how we look at the experience of it. Because no one can predict what will happen in a relationship and how people can change. Cain and Abel, for instance, who would have thought Cain with Cain and Abel? I mean, they're brothers. All of a sudden, something went down and he's dead. So life is full with so many. I mean, COVID was here. Pastors die. Women die. kids die, grandfathers die. There's no guarantee in life. But one thing's guaranteed, though, that God has promised us, is that if we align ourselves with Him the right way, the right understanding, then everything else kind of fall into place and will take their place as we make those commitments, be it relationships or any otherwise.
Sorry, Lady Misty. Sorry, let me interject. I see someone saying that we didn't respond to their question as to how soon it is to call someone baby or hon.
Okay, that's a question.
I didn't see that question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if it is that you met today and somebody calling a baby tomorrow, you have a problem. You can just say to the person, "Listen, I'm uncomfortable.
Too quick of a commitment,
I'm uncomfortable. So let's just take it down. My name is Gloria. Call me Gloria for now until we're comfortable. Have that conversation. Everything is really a conversation. Have a conversation with them."
There is so much out there that informs our mind, and I want to end with this by saying, there's so much out there that's informing our mind when it comes on to commitment. Why so many people fear commitments. They have seen the tragedies, they have seen the atrocities, yet, Shakespeare often has said that the good that men do often die with them while the bad lives on. And it's a sad truth, it would seem, that the bad is so highlighted that which is good is not seen. The other day I was doing a message that we tend not to look at the institution marriage that God created that is noble. We tend to see what is happening in marriages and then deem that is marriage, as opposed to the institution that God created. Similar for us as human beings, how God created us, and we see the atrocities that we commit, and we have come to the conclusion that human beings are just horrible creatures, especially, when we are witnesses to some of what is done. We therefore, and I love what Pastor DJ KT says, I give him title Pastor, that we must come to a place of aligning with God. And that is really where it comes. What His Word says in terms of our own peace, our safety, and His working with us and taking us to that place. It has to be that which we see. Our commitment to God must be unbroken, but even if it becomes broken, we can recommit. Yeah. And that commitment is a commitment beyond any other that we can think.
Powerful. Well said.
All right, powerful stuff. Thank you so much. We have been diving headfirst into the topic tonight of commitment, and Reverend Morrison and Lady Adigol Lawrence really delved, and they were transparent. They were true to us tonight.
Great host.
And we are grateful for their contribution to tonight's topic. We want to thank you too for those who have been contributing and sending in their questions and your comments. As we pull the curtains down, what advice, or what word of advice would you have for this young lady who has issues with her commitment? And interestingly enough, at the ending of her letter, she did declare that she knows she deserves love, she is worthy, and she knows that that's God's design for her. At the end, and let me just read it verbatim for you. She says, "I know I'm destined to be loved. I am worthy of love. I am designed to be loved and to belong to a family. I am enough. So how do I navigate this feeling with wisdom?"
Tread cautiously.
Tread cautiously. Yes.
Pay attention to the red flags. Ask questions. Do not leave without getting answers. If the person is avoiding direct answers. Those are red flags.
Mhm.
I don't know if she has met this person in real space and not just virtually. Uh, I
No,
am
no, based on the letter, it says just the video calls and so on.
I'm one of those
Based on the
that
information she wrote in the letter.
mental persons. That's a ground that you must tread on carefully. More than 80% of the social media relationships have turned out to be fraudulent in terms of the individual who tries to win over the person. What they portrayed was not what was real. We have to be careful. And so tread cautiously. This is how I said you navigate. As you rightfully say, you deserve love. You have had one bad experience already. The scripture says, be still and know that I am God. When I come to the crossroads, don't just quickly choose one road. Be still. You don't want to go down the wrong road to come back up. You really don't want that.
Yes.
Be still, be silent, make no impulsive decisions. Because as you say, you deserve to be treated correctly, you deserve to be treated rightly. And I just want to encourage you, as the word of God says, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Let no one devalue you. You are bought by his blood. You are priceless. You are valuable, extremely valuable. You are the apple of God's eye. We all are. And so never, ever allow your source of happiness to be seen in another individual. Allow that to be God directed in all that you do.
All right. Lady Adigol, any closing words?
I just want to say to her that those affirmations that she has stated, ensure to believe them and not just say them. Ensure to actually know that those things are true and not just put them on a paper to say, hey, I am loved and I deserve love. We can always say, yes, I deserve love. We can always say, yes, I know God wants me to have a family. But do we actually believe it? Because if it is that we do believe it, then when we see certain persons texting us or coming to us, we know that, hey, we already know what they're up to because of how we know ourselves and we know what we deserve. So when they come with certain things, we start asking questions. How about this? Let's get in depth about things, because the surface questions and the surface things that are being said doesn't do anything. Let's get in depth and let's talk. Let's have these conversations. And because you know that you deserve all the good things, you know you deserve love. When somebody actually comes out and you know that they're authentic and they love you, you won't be questioning it because you already know you deserve it. But ensure that you actually believe what you are saying, because we can always say things and we can always put things down on paper, but the believing it is the part that we need to get.
All right.
Well,
thank you
all right.
so much. Thank you so much. You guys have proven to be, the resident guests, host on host tonight, right?
You're
Yes, we want to thank you.
hired.
We want to thank you so much for joining us tonight and for talking to us. And of course, as usual, being so transparent, being so real with us
Thank
and
you.
engaging with our audience. We want to say thank you so much. We want to continue to say a big thank you. We have an attitude of gratitude on this show. So we want to say thank you so much to all our partners, our listeners, our viewers who have been tuning into the show on a weekly basis. We want to continue to be a support to you. Please continue to drop your comments in the comment section, or of course, if you have any questions, anything you want us to talk about, email us at ltranswers@gmail.com. Now, if we are unable to read all the comments tonight, all the questions, please don't be mad at us. Please come back
Don't
to
be
our
mad.
program. Yeah, don't be mad. Please come back to our program and continue to share with us. There is no show without you. So, of course, we love your company. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Let's Talk relationships. We want to continue to support you to have healthy, amazing, happy relationships. Good night, everybody, and see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Awesome,
you.
awesome guest. Great job. Great job.
Let's talk
On UME Radio.
So, what are we talking about?
Marriage, dating, parenting, business,
And love, emotions, sex.
it's a conversation with me, Lady Misty,
and DJ KTE.
on everything from hot topics to taboos.
Join us Mondays at 9 p.m. live on UME Radio.
Follow us at Let's Talk Relationship Show on Facebook or on UME Radio on Instagram. Let's talk relationships, arguments for the grown.
Get the UME Radio app to listen wherever you are. That is UME Radio. One word.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.